Couple ways you can get these into vertex form. First way, probably what quite a few of you like. You can do the opposite of b over 2a to find your axis of symmetry first. So straight up doing this, it's going to give you negative 4 over 2 times that, negative 8. Opposite of b over 2. So that would give you a negative 4. So the axis of symmetry would be, as an equation, x equals negative 4. It's a vertical line. Okay? And then to find the vertex, you can just take that and plug it in. So basically, we take negative 4, plug it into our formula, or our function, I should say, and we get 16 minus 32 plus 25. 16 minus negative 16 plus 25, we get a 9. Okay, so that means the vertex would be at negative 4 and 9. And if I have the vertex, running out of room here, I can take and put that into what we call vertex form. So f of x equals, the a value is 1 here, so then we just keep that. So x plus 4, quantity squared plus 9. Remember, in vertex form, it's x minus h, quantity squared, plus k, and the vertex is hk. Okay, so that's that. Other way we talked about, and if you like this way, I'll show this here. So you can do the same thing for this problem if you wanted to, or we talked about completing the square. So f of x is equal to, you take the 3 out, but just the 3, and you have x squared plus 2x, when I take the 3 out, plus something. And then I just slide the 7 over, and if I'm adding something here, I'm going to have to subtract something to the same side. All right, so half of 2 is 1, 1 squared is 1. That is now a perfect square trinomial. But that really says 3 times 1, so that's really a 3. So I have to subtract 3 right there. So to get this into vertex form now, I have 3, and then I factor the perfect square trinomial, which is very easy to do. X plus 1 quantity squared, and then we have plus 4. All right, so the vertex off of this would be negative 1, 4. And the axis of symmetry would be x equals, whoops, I don't know why I wrote that, x equals negative 1 right off of this. Okay? All right, so then here, determine whether the function has a maximum or a minimum. That's a very quick answer. This is a positive a value. It's going to open up, so this will have a minimum value. And then find that value. The key to these is that when they say find that value means the y value. Okay, so what we got to do here is now crank through the calculation. Well, it's all about finding the vertex. So x equals the opposite of 6 over 2a, so that's 3. So we definitely know the vertex is 3 comma something. So we're going to put that in, show a little better work here, f of 3. That would be, 3 squared minus 6 times 3 plus 4. So we got 9 minus 18, negative 9, plus 4 is a negative 5. So the actual minimum value would be negative 5. All right, this one here is going to have a maximum value because we can see that a parabola with a negative a opens downward for a maximum. So same idea, x is equal to opposite of 8 over 2 times negative 2, so that's a negative 4. We got ourselves a value of 2. So then when we do f of 2, careful with your negative here, we got negative 2 times 2 squared plus 8 times 2 minus 7. So 2 squared is 4 times, and so we got a negative 8 plus 16 minus 7, positive 8 minus 7, and we are getting a 1. All righty. Now to put all this together and to actually get a graph here, again, you got 2 different options. You can do opposite of b over 2a, plug it in to find your vertex. I personally kind of like the completing the square method because it works a little faster for this. So if you pull that 2 out, you'd have an x squared plus 4x plus blank. Slide the 9 over, and then we'll have minus blank. Add and subtract to the same side. Half of 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4, so the 4 goes there. 4 times 2, we really added 8, so we have to subtract 8. So then when we get this into vertex form, we got a 2 out front for our a value. Very simple perfect square trinomial factoring to there, and then we got plus 1. So that is vertex form. the vertex would be at -2, 1, and the axis of symmetry would be x equals -2. All right, so let's try to graph this based on all of that information. So -2, 1, there it is. We're going to open upwards. We do have a stretch here of 2. So normally I go over 1, up 1. Now we'll be up 2. Symmetric on the other side. Over 2, I normally go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have to go up 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to be up here. So when we do our sketch, we got to understand to stay kind of inside this next mark. So we go up there, and that's our parabola. All right? So that is a lot of the goods for Unit 5. Okay, so going through this next part, this was the one, 41 here, where we actually had a vertex given to us and then just some other point on the parabola. Well, we can definitely write the vertex form, that's what they're asking for, of a parabola if we have the vertex, but we also need the a value. That's the only thing we need is the a value. So I'm going to go again and write down vertex form, like that, and then we'll fill everything in but the a value. Okay, so f of x is 8. That's from over here. Then we have equals, we got our a, times x is -1, minus 3, and then plus 4 from our k. All right, so now we got 8 equals -1 minus 3. That's a -4 squared, so we have 16a plus 4. Subtract the 4, we got 16a equals 4. So we're getting an a value of 1/4 when we divide by 16. So that's our a value. So all we got to do is put that together in vertex form. So f of x is equal to 1/4, parenthesis, x minus h, so minus 3, quantity squared, plus the k value of 4. So this is actually what the question is asking. All right, next one now. We got a farmer who wants to fence in a pig pen, naturally. So if the farmer has this much fence, does not fence the barn side. All right, so here we go. There's the barn. Here it is. If we've seen this before, we can make this an x and this an x because it's a rectangle here. By doing that, we can label this side as 240 minus however much fence we've used. So if I have 240 feet from here to here to here to there, I've got 240 left minus that one minus that one. Well, that's like saying minus 2 x's there. Well, they're talking about area, largest area. So the area function would be length times width. So we got ourselves x times 240 minus 2x. Well, when I distribute that through, I got area in terms of x equals 240x minus 2x squared. And again, I personally don't like looking at it like that. So I'm going to say negative 2x squared plus 240x. And if you're thinking about this, this is a parabola that's going to open downward, which means, you guessed it, we have a maximum point. Well, the problem is talking about what is the maximum area, largest area that can be enclosed. So again, what does this mean? Well, the x is the dimensions, but the area, the y value, is the actual area. So when we think about this vertex here, it's really, that point right there is x comma a of x. So if we can find the y value of the vertex, we are answering this question. All right, well, to do that, like we've done so many times, we've got the opposite of b over 2a. Find the x value first. So that's the opposite of 240 all over 2 times negative 2. So that equals negative 240 all over, what is that, negative 4. Sorry, lost my train of thought. 24 over 4 is 6, so this would be 60. All right, so what's that mean? Well, don't forget that means that this is 60. So if we've got 60 here, 60 here, 60 here would be 120. We have 120 plus the 120. That is 240 feet of fencing, but what were they asking for? They were asking for the area. So what is the area? So all you got to do is 60 times 120. Okay, so the area is going to be, the maximum area is going to be that. Now, that is the same thing as putting a 20 in here and in here. So if you feel like doing that to find the y value, great. But in application, that's pretty straightforward right here. So what's 12 times 6? That would be 72. Tack on a couple of zeros. We got 7,200 feet squared as our maximum area. All right, this one's even, really pretty straightforward here. You got, just look, your A value is -2, your B value is 2,000. Again, whenever they're talking about the maximum revenue, the maximum, that's the Y value, but we gotta find X equals opposite of B over 2A first, over 2 times -2 here. So negative over negative, so we got a 2,000 divided by 4. That's going to be a positive 500. And then when we plug 500 in, we get our answer. So the revenue of 500 would be 2,000 times 500 minus 2 times 500 squared. All right, so you can pull out, don't forget, your trusty calculator, which I have my calculations here before. Whoa, hold on. That's going to bring it over there, and whoops, there we are right there. Control, clear, and we're back. So you're literally just plugging this in. 2, 2,000 times 5. This is really kind of obnoxious. Times 500. I don't know why this is giving me such issues here. Minus 2 parenthesis 500 squared. Finally, yeah. So you're just firing it in. It's basically what we got. So we got 500,000